Yeah, the microphone's
Yeah, these mics don't seem to be working.
No.
My name is Constance Benson. I was cured October 30th, 2012. What was the question?
Tell me a little bit about what your life was like before you had the transplant and how you're trying to make it normal and what normal is.
Okay. My life before the transplant, it was, the honest answer, it was a living nightmare. It started off really well. I mean, I was managing my disease and it was okay. I could live with it. But then once I got a modeling contract with Wilhelmina and Conshohocken and I started traveling 13 hours to get there to do my job, to come back, to go straight to the ER, it started to go downhill. So my life started to spiral and it was just a lot of pain every single day. From the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, it was pain. So from that 4 years ago to now, life is completely different. I wake up, I'm not in pain. I go throughout the whole day without pain, and it's night and day. Life is completely different, and I never would have imagined that it could be this way. So.
What is normal to you?
Well, normal to me now, believe it or not, don't judge, okay? It's going to bed around 3, 4 a.m. I know, I'm trying. That whole circadian rhythm and not being able to sleep, there was something to that. But, see, she get it.
Oh, yeah.
But I go to bed, wake up probably anywhere between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. to go. I just became a realtor, so I sell real estate. I also act. My first show is on Amazon Prime, Music and Murder. I act, I model, and I do something else. Oh yeah, I'm pursuing my master's degree right now. So I graduated with my bachelor's, and a couple months ago in June, and I started my master's last month.
Now, do you think you could have done this? Would you have been able to do this had you not had a bone marrow transplant?
No, I would not have been able to do probably half of the amount of stuff that I do right now. I was always an ambitious person, and if you told me something wasn't going to be done, I couldn't do it. I was going to do it, and you were going to know I did it. But I wouldn't have been able to do what I do now. I think the biggest takeaway for me and the key thing for me is the fact that I wake up every single day and I don't have pain. And what I do now is, because I don't ever want to see the inside of a hospital ever again in my life unless I'm having children, and then I gave myself permission to have drugs, okay? But what I do now is I work out, I take care of myself, I eat. I have sweets too, because I have a sweet tooth, so I'm not starving myself by any means. But I'm living life, taking care of myself, and doing things to make sure that I don't have any issues. I try and be as proactive as possible. And in doing so, the only pains that I feel are workout pains, and I absolutely love it because it is nothing like what I was used to. So I'm like, I will not complain.
Yeah.
But being able to wake up every single day and not have to take any drugs, not have to worry about how much pain medication I have, what's going on with my parents, my sister, how going to the hospital might affect them, how everybody has to rearrange everything, what are they going to find this time, how many blood transfusions am I going to have, am I going to develop any antibodies or antigens that make me reject the blood, and it's just, it's completely different. Yes, life has its whole other set of different things now that you're normal, but it's nothing compared to what I was used to. And so I am very thankful for that.
We'll backtrack to the end. Introduce yourself.
It doesn't work.
Okay. To make that decision for a transplant. How did you pick picture what your life would be like 10 years down the road, and are you getting to that point?
I'm just gonna be honest with you all. I didn't want the transplant at first. I didn't want it. I was scared to death of it because it was uncharted territory. I knew sickle cell, I knew how to live with sickle cell, and I thought that I could beat my disease. So when the opportunity presented itself through a series that nothing that only God could have put together, I went to the appointments and everything just to humor my family. I went there just to get them off my back because I was going in and out of the hospital, and both my parents are nurses. So yeah, I was getting both ends, like the medical and the parental, you know. They were intense. So I just went just a piece, okay? But I didn't want to do it, and I really did not want to do it because I didn't think I was as bad as I was. And I am so thankful and so fortunate that my family really pushed me and they stuck by me, and they really helped me to understand that I was a whole lot worse than I thought I was. That it wasn't looking good for me. I honestly doubt that I would be alive today. And if I was, I'd probably be in hospice because of how bad everything was going so fast. But it was actually my brother made me actually consider taking it seriously. I told him it was after Mother's Day, and we had a brunch at IHOP. I love IHOP, the crepes.
Yes.
Yes. And we were all sitting around at the table after Mother's Day having a conversation, and I was explaining what was going on, and my mother was explaining things that were going on, and he pulled me to the side after the brunch and he said, "Hey, why don't you actually give this a chance? Think about it. Take it serious, listen to them, talk, ask the questions that you want, but honestly give it a chance." Okay, so I let one of my guards down. I was like, okay, all right, I'll give it a chance, I'll give it a shot. But then it was a family friend who I spoke to a couple months later because we were going through the process. It was a long process. And they explained to me that by getting the transplant, I wasn't quitting. I wasn't saying that I wasn't good enough to handle sickle cell, that I was giving up, that I always lived by the philosophy God wouldn't put more on me than I could bear. And I thought that by getting the transplant that I would be making him mad for just quitting, for not being able to handle what the load that he gave me. And in speaking to our family friend, he's an awesome guy. His entire family is awesome, but in speaking to him, he made me realize that there's nothing wrong with going for the transplant. There's nothing wrong with that. God still wouldn't put more on you than you could bear. And you could let your pain, everything that you were going through, you could let your story help and inspire others and strengthen them. Make them make the right decision for them. But just because I got the transplant, that didn't mean I was a quitter. So I finally took it seriously and started really looking at it. And lucky for me, my little sister, Samantha, she was 100% match as well. It was perfect 10 out of 10.
And she's here.
Yeah, and that's my mama. And she donated her bone marrow to save me. But I'm letting y'all know, I tried to convince her before that time. I tried to convince her. I was like, girl, you don't have to do it. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm a survivor. I'm so thankful they ignored me.